stuff. Come on, load up, load up. This looks so silly and stuff. Okay. Hello everyone, hopefully the video and audio will be good for about the next 30-45 minutes that I am here, because I am going to do this and then I'm going to jump into a game with somebody who is here with me. He'll be talking in a few moments, but we are here with the first ever official episode of Talk is Levi, which I'll explain what that is in just a moment. But I want to introduce my special guest who is part of BigEvilGaming with me, and also Larry, the homie. He is an awesome guy. He is known on YouTube and throughout social media as BigEvilGaming, on consoles as BigEvil319. Hello, Logan. Introduce yourself to everybody.
How's it going, guys? I am Logan, as you know from BigEvilGaming. Also known on my own channel as BigEvilGaming. So,
Yeah.
if you like what you see in BigEvilGaming, man, go ahead and give my channel a like. So.
Okay, so basically what we're going to do here is we've got some topics to talk about, because I thought about, I always wanted to do a podcast, whether it be on a podcast, join a podcast, something like that. But I never had the opportunity. I've seen people like Chris Jericho do one. I know I would never be on that one, but that's the inspiration for this one. But I had friends like Uncle John. I had I've seen Player Essence. I've seen Spawncast, Abaddon Smith, and many others that are smaller like me or are in the YouTube scene do podcasts, and I've always wanted to do one or be a part of one, but I've never been invited. So I was like, let's do one on my channel. It may be a success, it may be a failure, and I'm going to say hello to everybody that's here in the chat in just a moment. And I thought, well, what am I going to name it? Well, I thought, let's think about stuff. And then I was like, well, my inspiration, I got his Alpha Club shirt in the mail today when I got home from work at 9 o'clock, at 9:30. No, it was 10 o'clock because I had to go to the store. But yeah, I got his shirt in, so I thought I'd wear it on this episode. And but he inspired me to do this. And I was like, let's do this. I can sit there and talk about things, because I do a lot of gaming on this channel. But people have asked for music. People have asked for wrestling. And I thought the easiest way for me to do it right now, I do have some stuff in the works until I get a camera, because I'm looking for an HD camera. I mean, this is an HD camera, but I need one that's more portable, because my phone, going into the room across the hall to play music, and use this, it doesn't get the audio and video good. I mean, I don't want something that has to be studio quality, but it has to be better. So I am working to do that. But anyway, I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat, and then I'm going to do a little bit of an interview style thing with Big Evil to ask him some things. And you may see me wearing some glasses.
Oh, hot seat.
Glasses. These are not actual glasses like reading glasses or anything like that, or sunglasses. These are glasses that are better for when you use a computer. The blue glare is not as bad. But let me see everybody that's been in here. Hello to Red Panda. Hello, thank you for joining in. As always, hello to the man who joins in the streams. Always one of the first ones to join in is DOA Hitman. Everybody, go check out each other's channel. Because if you join in my streams, I always like the interaction. So if you join a stream and you're talking to somebody, take a moment if you want to step away from my stream, go check out their channel. But at the same time, if you want to, hey, do it after the stream to continue watching what I'm doing. Hello to Crows. She is one awesome person. Hello to BigEvilGaming. He commented. That's his channel right there. If you look at it, he is an admin. But yeah, so I'm going to ask him some questions, and then once we get done asking him some questions, we're going to talk about some of our favorites in music, wrestling, and gaming. We're going to talk about Xbox exclusives. The two Xbox exclusives we're talking about is Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2, because those are the ones that came out this year. We'll talk about crossplay and maybe a few more things. And then after that, over on his channel, we'll be getting into the Forest. He invited me to get the game, so I went and got the game, and he said, hey, I'd love you to join me in this game, because it's a really, really terrifying game, but good at the same time. So I said, sure, I will do it. So that's what we're going to be doing in about the next 45 minutes.
It has scared the...
So yes, hopefully you all can hear him well, because the way that I wanted to do it, it didn't work out, but this way you can still hear him, I believe. So let me just check something real quick. Say something real quick, brother. So yes, hopefully you all can hear him well, because the way that I wanted to do it, it didn't work out, but this way you can still hear him, I believe. So let me just check something real quick.
Chickity check 1 2 check
Say
check 1 2
something.
3.
So yes,
Check 1
hopefully
2.
you all can hear him well because the way that I want to do it didn't work out, but this way is you still hear him. So let me just check. Yeah. Okay, so everything should sound good. So I'm gonna turn them up just a tiny bit more on my TV because that's the only thing coming out of there. So we're both going into the same mic. So yes. So you all know who I am. I'm Chrislevi13. Started this YouTube channel in 2012 with an older friend of mine, you know, taking inspiration from what he did, adding in some other things. And then I did this, you know, and through that time, I've met a lot of people on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram. One of the people I met was over on Facebook. I was doing this thing called RP Wrestling, which basically is take wrestling, take the wrestling aspect, really kind of like the in-ring stuff out of it. Kind of, you know, and okay, shouldn't be an echo anymore. This thing called RP Wrestling, which basically is take wrestling, take the wrestling. But kind of we basically what it was is take wrestling and put it in like book form. Hey, here's this guy. Go out there, promo against each other, whether you do text promo or video promo. Do it, and at the end and then at the day the match actually happens, the people that are the management of this company that run this company, basically this group, say, hey, do text promo or video echo. Do it, and at the end and then at the day the match actually happens, I don't know how to. People that are the management of this company that run this company, basically this group, say, hey, do text promo or video. Do it. Oh, I know where the echo's coming from. There should be no echo anymore. I turned the audio down on my computer, but I didn't do it on the video itself. Is there any, okay, DOA? Just checking real quick, obviously, you know?
Yeah, it's good now.
Okay, good. So basically it was that. We met each other. We know I had a company. He'd helped with companies. He'd done stuff. He was more new to it than I was at the time. But yeah, we met each other, and we had our gimmicks, and we'd have matches with each other. We'd book matches for each other. We'd do this, do that, and we created a friendship out of it. You know, we used to Skype all the time, and then I got more focused in my job and all that, and I got out of RP, which is role play wrestling kind of thing. And me and him kind of lost connection, you know. And then I got on Facebook and I started getting back into doing gaming and all that. And I noticed, hey, I found out he had an Xbox. We got an Xbox, and then out of nowhere, within the last 6 months, man, we've come two of the closest friends that you could possibly imagine. You know, yeah, we got distance between us, but we're two of the close friends. Every time we're playing games, whether it's a system that we have together, it's a game we have together, we're not. We're hitting each other up if, you know, we're talking to each other about the day. Hey, this happened on WWE. Hey, this happened with this artist. This music, all this stuff that we're interested in. Hell, when E3 was happening, me, him, and Larry were sitting there all day throughout that whole week. Just, hey, man, what'd you think about Fallout 76? What'd you think about this and that? You know? But then eventually...
What do you think about Kingdom Hearts 3? What do you think about, you know, the new Elder Scrolls game that's coming out next year?
Yeah, and then eventually... I was like, you know, I'm doing this, and Larry's the one that kind of was like the one, hey, why don't we do a channel together? And that's where BigEvilGaming came out of it. But then I started to find out he had his own channel. You know, I went and searched that stuff out, and he does BigEvilGaming. So I want to ask you the question, Logan, since to let people know more about you, and maybe people that watch this now or later can go over to your channel. Can you tell us where the name BigEvilGaming came from?
Well, I originally got I guess you can call it a nickname, Big Evil. As you know, I'm a big Undertaker fan, first of all. So I kind of, his whole biker persona, I really liked it, got into it. And the thing that kind of set it off where, like, I should use this name is, when I was playing high school football, I played a nose guard on defense. And one practice that we had, it was right before homecoming game. I broke through the offensive line and picked up QB, carried him about 10 yards, and just slammed him straight on the ground. And I overheard my coach saying, "He is one big evil son of a bitch," and that's kind of where I got it from. And I remember PS2 when you could hook up the cable to it and play online. That was kind of by Evil Man on it, and it kind of just grew into this whole thing.
Cool, man. So, we're gonna get into our favorites in a moment, but I want to ask you real quick, just one thing. Why is The Undertaker one of your favorite wrestlers of all time, if not your favorite wrestler of all time?
Well, the first time I ever saw wrestling, my aunt, God rest her soul, I remember I went over to her house and there was wrestling on, and this was back in the Attitude Era day.
Yeah.
Back on ECW was still around.
Yeah, back when there was ECW, WCW, and WWF at the time.
Back when Vince was in the company, and it was damn good. But I remember that my mom and me, we visited from when I was listening. Yeah, and there was wrestling TV, and I watched it. And the first one that was on TV that came out for a match was The Undertaker, and I don't know what it was, but I just got so involved in it, and I clinged to The Undertaker as like, oh my God, this guy is awesome. And I mean, that was the time of like Stone Cold, and I'm a diehard Stone Cold fan too. But The Undertaker was the first person that I ever saw on wrestling.
Yeah, so
the person that my aunt introduced me to when I first watched it. So.
Yeah. Which version of The Undertaker was it? Was it like was he Big Evil then? Was he just coming into the biker gimmick, or was he before the biker gimmick?
That was Ministry of Darkness. Ministry of Darkness.
Oh, his late 90s persona. That Ministry of Darkness, man, they did some crazy stuff, especially when it was stuff, man. Man. They pushed the limits. When he was on Raw back then, he pushed the limits.
Oh, they really did.
Putting people up on the cross and all that.
Whole Ministry of Darkness. Yeah, I mean, I remember there was an interview that they did with him, and he actually got into a lot of trouble from the fans by it, and they had to be really careful about airing it because it was offending a lot of people.
Yeah, I saw the other day just on YouTube the video whenever I don't know if it was what year it was and when it happened, but I remember somebody, one of the random channels, went WWE, but I was just going through my things and it was down my suggestion, and it was whenever Undertaker was doing that stuff and he put Stone Cold on it, and when it was rising up, and I was like, oh my. But yeah, so.
The one thing that, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you can go ahead if you want to say something. Say it, man.
Oh no, I was just saying the one thing that still kind of just boggles my mind into how they did it was the Hell in a Cell between Undertaker and Big Boss Man, where there was a noose in the middle of the cell. And it lifted the cell with Big Boss Man in the noose, and I was like, how did they pull that off?
Yeah. And how did Big Boss Man survive that?
I don't know, that was crazy.
But yeah, that was the Attitude Era for you, man. The Attitude Era was basically it was like saying, hey, we just came out of the golden era. We're mad at the world. We're mad at the world because companies are taking our talent and trying to say, hey, we can give these talent more money than you're paying them, and they can do what they want. And then at the same time, Vince is like, you know what? I've never wanted to be. People can say Vince made himself the big bad guy because of what stuff was him, Stone Cold, Hit the Rock, Mankind, all this stuff built him up. The Undertaker, Kane, all this built him up into this big character. Well, people could because of Hulk Hogan, Sting, it's Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, all them leaving basically, and also the stuff that happened and also the stuff that happened with Owen Hart and Shawn Michaels. Well, you got to think about this. That stuff did get it bigger, but the thing about it was, this is leading off the questions. But real quick, I just want to get this out there because it's on my mind. Is that he was kind of like, you know what? People have always seen me be the commentator. They always knew me as my father's son, and yeah, they obviously probably knew that I became the owner of the company once my father passed away. way. But the thing about it is, they need to know that I'm actually the man that runs this. I'm the man that runs this company. And if you fuck up, you gotta talk to me. If you mess up, you gotta talk to me. If you do something wrong, bam. If you do something good, I'm the first one to give you a handshake. I'm the first one to give you praise. And he looked at it like other sports, other wrestling companies. Their people stayed back in the executive rooms, or like on a sports team, their coach stayed to the side and didn't really do much. Yeah, they might have yelled at them once in a while when they're going down the field, the court. But this man said, you know what? I'm gonna get in the middle of that rink and show that, hey, they're wrestlers, but I can be, but I'm gonna sit there and do it. And yeah, these are big men that are gonna sit there, and I know they're gonna get mad and they're gonna want to hit me. And Vince knew that was gonna eventually happen, so that's why he took the matches and took the bumps and all that to sell it. But getting back to the questions, so getting to know Big Evil more and his channel more because I thought it was an interesting thing is that. So Logan, what inspired you to want to get to take not only what playing games, because that's obviously what you do a lot on YouTube, and also your love for sharing your love for wrestling. What made you want to venture into creating your own YouTube channel?
Well, I just saw one of my biggest influences on YouTube. Like I would watch Markiplier, and I would sit and watch his stuff over and over again. And I remember watching his, and I started being a fan of his when he started first growing his channel. He started out at like 1,000 subs.
Damn, you've been. I just want to say, man, if you said 1,000, I'm gonna let you finish the story. Since 1,000, and he's at one of the top YouTubers there is, man, you've seen a lot of ups and downs with his channel. You've been there. You're diehard.
Oh yeah, dude. And I remember when I watched him draw his life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, I can do this. Games, I like communicate with people. I mean, that's how we found each other again, And I kind of was just like, I'm gonna do this. Throughout the channel, I really wasn't that good. I kind of sucked a lot. But the more and more I did it, the more committed I became to it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I'm just gonna give an example, which the easiest example is obviously give an example of yourself. And my example is me. Hey, from 2012 to 2014, my channel was a little bit of everything. Your videos may have had inspiration and ideas behind them, but did the overall channel have an identity? No, the overall channel was, hey, let's go to this channel, Chrislevi13. What is he? Well, I don't know. There's a vlog, there's a comedy video, there's a rock and roll wrestling show, there's him and his friends just running around, backyard wrestling, there's this, that, the other thing, and it just wasn't this. But I mean, I still feature all that stuff there for people to see to know, hey, that was my past. But I have focused myself, and I love the way Big Evil's done with the channel, because he is one of my best friends in my whole entire life. But I brought him on here because I wanted to say, hey, some of my community, some of you all that are watching my stuff, go over, venture if you got time in your week, in your life, a moment, just 5 minutes. Go over, check him out, man, because he may not have a ton of stuff, and it may be some of this, that, the other thing, but he has PS4, he has Xbox One, he has his Steam, he has stuff that he loves featuring. He does a Thursday Throwback Thursday, which, that's the next question, is his Thursday Throwback is something that I've really been entertained by. I do streams on on Thursdays like I do Tuesdays, Thursdays, and the weekends, but Thursday Throwback Thursday is all his original idea. Yeah, it did somewhat come from the thing. Obviously, everybody does Throwback Thursday, but he added his own spin to it. So talk about your Thursday Throwback, one of your biggest things on your channel, which if you go check it out, his GTA 5, which one was it? San Andreas? Vice City. That one almost has over 300 something views. 400 almost, I think.
Almost 400.
Yeah, man. So yeah, talk about your big thing on your channel that you do each week, and that's one of the bigger things you try to focus on. Hey, I'm going to get this right every week.
Well, for me, originally I wanted to do kind of like themes for every day. Because, like, it was going to be something for Monday. It was going to be Tuesday, something for Tuesday. Wednesday was going to be, like, Wild Wednesday, which could be anything. And then Thursday was going to be, like, a throwback day. And I like drinking beer. So, But, yeah, but, you know, it came about this whole thing is like, you know, it started out as a joke, really. It really did. Because it was me and a couple friends. It was actually one of my best friends, Brandon. Me and him were talking, and the idea for it, I was drinking a beer, and he goes, "Can you imagine doing a drunk stream?" And this actually happened on a Thursday. and and I'm actually way. I think like Battlefield 1 video where you could tell that I'm drunk off my ass in some of them, coming home from the bar with my buds. But
man.
But yeah, it started out as a joke, and then I wanted to do a series which was on one day every week. Because I'm busy some days and some days I'm not. And so Thirsty Throwback Thursday just came about where I wanted to do old school games. I wanted to do retro games. Games ranging from a year old all the way to like the golden age. And Thirsty Throwback Thursday was born. I mean, that's really pretty much it.
Yeah. So I've only got a couple more questions for you, and then we can get some of the topics that I've outlined. Is that you said you'd be really interested in talking about earlier today.
Yeah.
So talking about, so we've talked about where the name came from, your Thursday Throwback Thursday. So what do you think about your journey on YouTube so far, from when you started the channel to now, and people you've met through YouTube? Speak on that. What do you think about it?
Well, for me, I started my YouTube channel on July 28th of 2014. So I've been at this for almost 4 years. Like the first couple years, I really didn't get a traction. Just me trying to find myself, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it. And I didn't have a lot of the equipment that I have now. But my journey now, like, I'm 23 subscribers away from hitting 100 people. And, you know, being able to meet so many cool people and being able to play games with a lot of my friends, like with Larry and with, like, you, and some of my other friends with my PS4 group, The Squad, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, man, I'm so glad I've come now. Because, I mean, I've got a little bit under my belt. And I know kind of what I'm doing now. So, all depends, DOA. All depends.
Yeah. So
I know that he added my girlfriend.
So, with that being said, one last question I wanted to ask you is that everybody has goals. You know, now that you kind of got your feet under you, and you kind of know, hey, this is what I like doing. This, you know, I got my life that I do it. I got my time that I spend with my girl. I got my time that I go do my wrestling. You're getting ready to go to college and do that stuff. Mm-hmm. But you also have talked about still doing this. So, what are some of your goals and some of the future stuff you want to do personally on your channel? Not outside of BigEvilGaming, outside of stuff that we do, but personally for you.
For me, I want to build up my fan base. I really do. goals was to reach 100 subscribers by the end of July, or by the time I start college, which is in August. Again. But, that's what. Another goal of mine, I eventually want to get better equipment. I eventually want to get a green screen. I want to get, not a Blue Yeti, kind of like cheap knockoff, like third cousin, twice uncle's brother of the mic. But I mean, this headset works just fine too. But just getting better equipment, hitting my subscriber goal, and eventually just wanting to do. I've been wanting to do a milestone of like maybe or something. I'm doing like a draw my life too, so that way people know more about.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, that's more about Big Evil right there. You just heard his inspirations for the name, his channel, what he likes doing here and all that. And we're going to even get to learn more about him throughout this, because obviously I threw this idea out to some people, through Twitter messages and Instagram, and they said they would like to hear more in depth some of my favorites. So the three big passions in my life, which are three big things that I know that Larry and Logan, Big Evil, are passionate about, is music, wrestling, and gaming. Because through YouTube, we get to share our gaming. Then outside of it, we get to watch all this wrestling on YouTube and on our TVs. And also, Logan is doing wrestling himself, training, And then music, we all love music, sharing the local bands, the big bands we like, all that. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about our favorites. And first, let's start talking about, since I've got a wrestling t-shirt on, let's talk about our favorites in wrestling. You obviously know one of his is Undertaker, but maybe give me a couple more, say some of your favorites you see in wrestling, and then I'll go into mine. But I'd like to give you the floor first if you would like to go with some of your favorites in wrestling, whether it be WWE, outside, maybe a handful of them, maybe, throw it out there,
WWE, The Undertaker, as I said, I'm a big Stone Cold. Alistair, if we're going NXT, a big favorite of mine. Eric Young, and all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Nikki Cross is another favorite of mine. Outside of WWE, I'm a huge fan of the entire Bullet. Always been a fan of the Bullet Club. And as Chris may know, I'm a huge fan of deathmatch wrestling, like CZW, IWA Mid-South, in Los Angeles, UEW. It's California Deathmatch Wrestling.
Yeah, I know there's deathmatch wrestling. There was a version of it in Japan when it was the Federation of All Japan Pro Wrestling. I think they did death matches, and that was crazy stuff. If I can have a mat ring.
There's another one that's Big Japan too.
Yeah, but I seen this ring in Japan. It was all these light tubes laying outside around the ring. It was the wrestling ring, 20 by 20 ring, and all these tubes. Mm-hmm. They had the regular tubes like you see touching the ropes. Then in each corner they had 4 big ones. And the dudes would sit there and throw each other into these things. And you see all this stuff comes up. And then one dude came up and he just screamed. And like shit went in his mouth. And he just got up. And them dudes hitting him with these light tubes. And I'm just like, dude. I mean, I would never personally do that myself. But if you're going to do that to entertain me, damn.
I actually want to. I actually want to do the deathmatch stuff. I would love to.
What does the girl think about that?
Well, I showed her some of it, and at first she was like, hell the fuck no.
Obvious answer.
But she's kind of warmed up to it a little bit more. It's like, well, as long as you don't die, I guess.
Yes, I know what Pro Wrestling Noah. Just get the DOA. He wanted to ask questions, so I'm gonna give his question real quick. I do know what Pro Wrestling Noah is. It is in Japan. It's not as big as New Japan Pro Wrestling, but it is over there, I believe, in that area.
Pro Wrestling Noah.
And the Pro Wrestling Noah.
I haven't watched it though.
It is something cool. But he said prior to Stone Cold joining the WWF, who was your favorite wrestler during the WCW, ECW, and WWF era? So he's talking about early '90s, basically. If you.
Oh, okay. So I'm actually gonna answer this with one from WCW, one from ECW, and one from WWF.
Okay.
So WCW wrestler, by far one of my all-time favorites, of course, would be the NWO. I was a huge NWO fan.
Cool.
If we're going like specific, probably have to go with Mike Awesome, just because.
If I had to answer that question, I was born in 1991, so I wouldn't really. But obviously through the WWE Network, YouTube, all this stuff, you get to see this stuff. And when I look back at the late '80s, early '90s wrestling, some of my favorites, some of the ones that stick out to me, is obviously Shawn Michaels. He was just getting there in the in the late '80s.
Mm-hmm.
But Shawn Michaels, you could see it from the day he started. He laced up the boots and got with the Rockers to whenever he did the most infinite promos, whenever and all that stuff. When he cracked his partner up in the head with a coconut and threw him through the stuff and all that, man, through the makeshift barbershop. That was phenomenal. Sting as the American, basically, whenever he was like the surfer boy walking in there. And he was basically WCW's.
I was actually just about to say that.
He was WCW's answer to basically the original version of Hulk Hogan. He was like, Hulk Hogan wants to be, I'm an American and all this. Well, you know what? What's America? People around the world know America for what? Hollywood, California. What do? You throw on the American colors. You make a surfer boy, and you make him one of the best damn wrestlers. What? Sting. And why would they call him Sting? Simple name. Hulk Hogan. He's like a Hulk. He's a big man. Sting. What happens? He goes there and if his wrestling, the way he wrestles, makes the Sting come through. It's kind of like a feeling, that the kind of. That's what I've heard some people say. Another one of my favorites from back then was actually I saw him. I didn't really see him, but I saw old like tape footage of him from a buddy's house. Is the Junkyard Dog? That dude could go. Yeah. He might not have been the most flashy guy out there, but when it comes to Mid-South wrestling and stuff like that, Jerry Lawler, Eddie Gilbert, and all them, wow. And people may not know who is Eddie Gilbert. Go look him up.
Now with the ECW and the WWF, ECW, New Jack. I was a big time fan of the hardcore stuff, and so I love New Jack. Like New Jack, he was a crazy kick your ass with anything guy.
New Jack, I'm sorry to say.
I like Mikey Whipwreck too.
I'm sorry to say this, but New Jack, he was crazy, but he's rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
Oh yeah, he did.
He's
and WWF era, Undertaker, Stone Cold.
Hello, everybody that's here in the chat. But so if you want to talk about me, ECW, from what I've seen of ECW, I have to honestly go back. If you want me to really go deep dive, is before WCW signed them and built their cruiserweight division, was Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrero, and Dean Malenko. They were actually for a short time wrestling via ECW with ECW to get their foot in America while they were still doing stuff in Mexico and Texas and all that. But Juventud Guerrero was somebody I had my eye on. I've always been a fan of RVD, and some people, and he has rubbed people. He has rubbed people, but and he's somebody that I think should retire. But he's a man that still wants to do it. Is Sabu? Sabu, he was one man.
Yes.
Back in the day, Sabu, I mean, bam, and then you look at the stuff that WWE's allowed. So you think about this. They did all this stuff whenever they did the WWE Network, like WCW versus WWE, basically the Monday Night Wars. And then after that, they did the stuff where they had the stuff where Paul Heyman came on there, and they talked about ECW. I loved it whenever they went deep down and down. And Tommy Dreamer was sitting there almost crying, talking about it, and he said ECW was built on me. That guy right there, Paul Heyman, the Dudleys, RVD, all these guys. What? Huh, Logan?
Oh, I can't hear you through Xbox, man.
Okay. You should be able to hear me now. My thing went down for a second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Ultimate Warrior was cool. The thing that gets me is that people try to bring up this thing about Ultimate Warrior because I like talking about the chat. It's about Ultimate Warrior and this supposedly there's two versions of Ultimate Warrior. No, I do not believe that.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory with that.
Just because he came out differently it's like, dude, Ultimate Warrior is Ultimate Warrior. And I just gotta say,
I'm gonna answer Larry's question really quick. Oh, sorry.
What was Larry's question?
Go ahead. Which pile driver do you like better, the original, which is now banned, or the Tombstone?
I don't have an answer for that, but I'll let the guy that has took that move to answer.
So, with me, as you guys know, one of my finishers is called the DOA pile driver, which is a modified package pile driver. For me, I always loved the original, which you can technically call the Texas pile driver or the stump puller pile driver or the package pile driver, which is literally the safest pile driver ever. And then you got the Tombstone, which to go along that, Larry, the Tombstone is only legal because it's part of the Undertaker's gimmick, as well as Kane's. But not so much Kane's as it is the Undertaker. What's up, Charles? Glad to see you, bud.
Hey, thank you for joining in, Charles. So I want to,
but with, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to say if you,
just gonna finish here?
I was gonna let you finish, but this is gonna help this. Is that
go ahead.
You say that the original was one of the safest, and then the other one's basically a modified version. Why would, if it's safe, is it banned and all of that? And then I'm gonna let you answer which one do you prefer?
The reason why Vince, like a lot of times you don't see it in WWE, is because it's a liability waiting to happen. That's the only reason why, is because it has the possibility to injure. And it's not, and Vince is seeing it as a problem of not if, but when. And with the package pile driver, it's 90% the person giving it, and 10% the person that's taking it.
That sort of the same way with, I guess, the Styles Clash. He allowed it to happen because certain wrestlers would put their body out there, like Chris Jericho. But that's why that movie's not really used by AJ Styles, because of Vince being like, I don't want that lawsuit.
Exactly. But the package pile driver, it's the safest move ever. It's literally the safest pile driver.
Oh, yeah. DOA brought up a good point, especially after Austin got paralyzed after That was a good point right there. You still there, Logan? Logan? I'm just checking to see if Logan's still there. I don't want to sit there and be like, hey. My Xbox messed up on me. I don't know why my Xbox is doing this, but we'll get this situation fixed. So everybody here, just give me just a moment, and I'm going to try to fix this. So let's try to fix this. So doing this right here. So what I'm going to do here, give it just a moment, people. This is the first episode, so you're gonna have technical difficulties. So yeah, I'm gonna see if I can get this fixed on my end, or just because if I can't, I'm gonna try to go back to the other way y'all were hearing them. And let me just do this right here then. Now it's having me connect to this, so let me do this. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm going to try to fix this because it says I'm disconnected now, which I don't know why. Because everything's working on it, so I'm going to leave party, and then I'm going to come back and join in the party. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everybody. I don't know what's up. Hello. Logan?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. We're back. Sorry about the technical difficulties. It's something that was happening on both our ends, I guess. But yes, we did.
That was weird.
The discussions are really cool. So you've heard us talk about wrestling for a good bit. Outside of say that stuff, I just want to say, so I want to ask you real quick to get to, because I want to do a few more things about wrestling and then get into some other things, get to know more each other and some things. So I want to ask you, when you look at current wrestling, the current status of wrestling, being a guy going into wrestling and all that, when you look at WWE, Impact, which formerly was TNA, and all this, who are some of your favorites nowadays that you go like, I like watching this dude when I can see him on WWE, YouTube, wherever. And I'm also going to give some of my favorites as well.
For me, like, I watch a lot of NXT, not so much Raw, SmackDown. I still watch it every now and then, but NXT is what I watch a lot of. I love Aleister Black, one of my all-time favorites, and I cannot wait until he transitions to the main roster.
I forgot.
Johnny Gargano is another one.
Yeah.
Great talent. And Tommaso Ciampa, everybody hates him. I love him because I watched him in ROH, man, and I love Tommaso Ciampa.
Yes. So far as me, everybody obviously knows if you look at wrestling, who one of my favorites is. I've got 3 of his shirts. That is Chris Jericho. He is one of the few men, it happened more back in the day, but he's one of the few men that nowadays has said he has wrestled in every company he's wrestled in, he has wrestled at a top level. When he was in WCW, where was he?
Yes.
He was the guy that was the Jerichoholics, had the dude, the security dude, had the list of 1,000 holds, and he was at the top level there. He came in the WWE. What did he do his first night? looked The Rock in the face and said, "I'm basically here." They had you know. Then what does he do? He goes, he's the first man to win both the WWE World Heavyweight Champion and the WWE Championship in the same night.
And the WWE Championship in the same night.
He's a man that, what happened? He won everything in WWE except maybe the Royal Rumble. Because there's not much else that he could win in the WWE. Because he's won all the belts. He's basically, he's won at WrestleMania. He's done all this stuff. He created the Money in the Bank match. I mean, so...
Yep.
What else did he do? He did that, and he's like, you know what? I'm not going to disrespect the WWE. So people may ask, well, he's in New Japan. New Japan is doing shows in America. Why can't he come here? That'd be close to his home. Because I've heard in this in several interviews. He said, to be respectful to WWE, I will only wrestle outside of America right now because they want me at All In. They want me at the Cow Palace. They've offered me big paychecks. But due to my respect to him, I'm not there. And what did he do? He went over to Japan, and what happened? They gave him a big paycheck. He said, "I'm only going to do this if it works for your company. I'm not going to sit there and just throw it and works for me." Bam. Then you got Edge, who's one of my favorites of all time because he was one of the dirtiest heels, and the way his stuff was Matt Hardy and his stuff that he did in his tag team stuff was Christian. I mean, if you want to talk about tag team wrestling, I love Motor City Machine Guns, and I loved London and Kendrick. But my favorites...
Whatever happened to Motor City Machine Guns?
Well, my favorites is whenever I was younger, I went back and they were still coming out of it back whenever I started watching the wrestling in middle school, was whenever they talked about the TLC matches, was the Dudleys, Edge and Christian, and the Hardys. And I was like, the way they did that stuff, you looked at that stuff, you think some of the wrestlers nowadays that would be on their level, like a Sami Zayn, a Kevin Owens, a Bobby Roode, a Seth Rollins, a Cesaro, this, back in the day would have done that, they would have been shit, they would have, sorry about my language, they would have shit their pants thinking about going through something like that in WWE now, today.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. Hell, you think Edge when Edge said, hey, you know what, we're going to have a spot where you hang from this and I'm going to give you a spear. Did Edge know what's going to happen when he's going to end? Edge could have hit that spear perfectly, but he could have fell totally wrong. And that's some of my favorites of all time when it comes to wrestling. Let me fix the chat real quick.
You are not connected to YouTube chat anymore on your video.
Yeah, that happens from time to time. I do not know how to fix that, so I'm just... Let me go to the YouTube... I mean, I know how to fix it to come back on the screen, but yes, and also right now in the WWE, if you want to talk about strictly WWE, outside of WWE, is obviously Chris Jericho. And you asked what happened to Motor City Machine Guns. They basically they were in TNA. They had their problems because Alex Shelley got injured, and then Chris Sabin went solo. He did what he could in the X Division. They gave him somewhat of a quick thing with the title because they basically, with Eric Young and Chris Sabin's title runs, were basically saying, hey, we're going to do copies of what they've done with Daniel Bryan. Whenever, so that's basically what they did there. Yeah. But Alex Shelley got all his injuries, and then finally Alex Shelley left the company. Chris Sabin left the company once he broke up with his girlfriend, and then his girlfriend's now with Bully Ray, his ex-girlfriend. And, so they went on the indie scene. Alex Shelley went over to New Japan and got with Kushida, and they created the Time Splitters, which was basically a gimmick inspired by Back to the Future, because they came out at one of the Wrestle Kingdom shows with the Back to the Future car. And then they did that for a while, and then whenever Alex Shelley wanted to come back to America, he joined ROH, and they made Motor City Machine Guns once again.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then they fought against the, what do you call them? They were in TNA as well. They were Christopher Daniels and Kazarian. They fought against them, the Briscoes, all those guys.
Oh, Bad Influence.
That's another reason too, Charles. You're all right. Thank you for your loyalty to TNA. Yes. But now that we talked about our favorites in wrestling, let's move on to two other things that we're going to talk about our favorites in, and then we're going to talk about three topics, and then we and him are going to jump on to another game over on his channel. So to talk about our favorites, I want to ask, what is your favorites in and we're going to talk about music and then gaming. So, share some of your music stuff, because I've heard you say you sang before in a band and all this, and you like your metal. So, what are some of your influences or favorites in music? Share with the audience that's here in the chat and around the world.
Like Chris said, this was maybe 5-6 years ago. I was a lead vocalist for a heavy metal band in Waterloo, Iowa, and a lot of my influences were Slayer was a big one. Lamb of God was probably the biggest one. Disturbed, Avenged Sevenfold, Metallica,
cool.
Whitechapel, Motionless in White. Just a lot of good old heavy bands.
Cool.
I'll listen to pretty much anything, but
I'm gonna show that because there's nothing bad he said. But so okay, now you talk about me. I like a little bit of everything. Yes, I do love the hard music because one of my favorite hard bands is a band that I do not respect the singer in anymore, and they're coming back is As I Lay Dying. But I like As I Lay Dying. I like Alexandria. I like Lamb of God. I had the Redneck CD, which was phenomenal. Whatever that CD, you know. I like they're right there on my wall. Day to Remember. But if you want to, I got Ozzy Osbourne right there. One of my favorite guitar players of all time is Slash. I like Green Day, and obviously everybody knows that if they know me, I like the Foo Fighters because it's just a respect thing I have there. That band, just everybody in the band, is, you know. And that's another thing about us is that you may see it through on YouTube and throughout things. We're a lot of gaming, but when you watch our streams, you watch anything that we do here on his channel, on anybody's channel that we come part of, you're going to hear us talk about wrestling. You're going to hear us talk about music. You're going to hear us talk about this stuff because it's part of our DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Aussie bands. I love AC/DC was one of the first bands whenever I was growing up and through middle school and all that, and I started to listen to what my dad listened to, was one of the bands that I actually liked the most out of what I heard my dad listen to. Now, this is going to connect.
Same thing. My mom loved AC/DC and got me onto it. So.
Yep. Cool. And I appreciate you, even through the technical difficulties, you joining me for the first episode of Talk is Levi, and, you know, don't know where this will go.
Hey, man, thank you.
But now we're going to venture into the gaming part, and gaming will be basically the rest of this episode before we jump into an actual game together. So, talking about what are some of your favorite games of all time? Games that you can say, hey, this is one of my favorite series, or hey, this one single game is my favorite of all time.
That's a really hard question. Because I've played so many good games in my life. One of my favorite series of all time, Super Mario Brothers.
It's me, Mario.
1, 2, and 3.
Cool.
I was a huge Zelda fan. Love The Legend of Zelda. Let's see what else. I love God of War. I've played every single God of War game. Beaten every single one except for 2 of them.
Nice. Charles says some of his favorites were GTA, MLB, LA Noire, Mario Brothers, Pac-Man, and more.
Yeah, like, one of my favorite horror games, and everybody's going to laugh, because if you go back and look at the streams that I did, the series I did with Outlast, you notice that I have shat my pants more than once on that game.
I had footage of me.
But it was an amazing horror game.
I have footage of me playing and
I
almost
want to get the second one.
beating Outlast, but due to things out of my hand, you'll never see that footage.
That sucks. Eventually, I want to get the second one and stream it for you guys, but
you know what?
It's actually on sale.
I actually would get you if you did it for your channel or Triple L. I would get that game for you and say do it this coming October.
Man, Yeah, that's another big plan that I have is like October. I want to do a lot of horror games. Even though I chickened out of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, and Larry says he's got the Elder Scrolls series, Tom Clancy, Family Guy, both. The Simpson games, GTA, Paladins, Mario, any, Assassin's Creed, Worms, MLB, NHL, FIFA, Call of Duty, but not really looking forward to BO4. Hey, that last line.
Oh man, I loved Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was one of my favorite ones. The Elder Scrolls, the first one I ever played was Morrowind. I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm actually playing Oblivion now on Game Pass.
Another thing that I gotta say is that connecting with Logan and watching his Thursday throwbacks, I can tell that he really that he really connected with and he loved playing the Fallouts games and the older GTA games, not GTA 1 and 2, but the ones with 3, San Andreas, whenever it first was coming into the 3D market.
Yeah. Oh man, Fallout, and I can't believe I totally forgot this. I had a brain fart. But alongside when you asked what my favorite video game of all time was, the Fallout series. One of my all-time favorites is the one that I've done many times on my Thirsty Throwback Thursdays, New Vegas.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait for Fallout 76.
Yeah. So I'm going to answer the question because I have not answered the question. Everybody should know it's pretty simple. What I've said it a million times. I've streamed every single one of these games on my channel. Channel is obviously my 3 favorite games of all time because when I was a kid, I could sit there and know that whenever I was a kid and I sat in this very room, back whenever I had this bed on this wall over here and all this and had the big fat old TVs, those TVs that weighed, I almost feel like they weigh, nowadays they feel like they weighed as much as a car did sitting, you know.
Oh God, my mom still has one of those, and it took like 3 people to lift it, man. It was heavy as hell.
But I sat here and I remember my brother, he'd play his Final Fantasy, he's played his, this is before I liked Halo. He'd play his Halos, he'd have his friends hang out and do all that stuff, and then I got this game, and the only thing I knew about this game was, hey, it's like your brother. Whenever he played Final Fantasy, it has some Final Fantasy aspects to it, with the gameplay and some of the characters, but it also has original characters and it has Disney characters, and I'm like, I'm really into Disney and all that stuff, so I'm like, cool, you know, and so I was like, okay, let's play it. And I sat here, and I could sit there and know that I beat Kingdom Hearts 1 2 times. I played Kingdom Hearts 2, beat it several times. And I'd go back, and I remember having the little book, not just the manuals get to it, but like when you used to go to GameStop and all that, they used to have like the little thick books that were like, they're like guides to the games.
Oh, God,
I had one of those,
and
I had one of those, and I'd read it and did all this stuff till the pages fell out of it. Because when you would get, you know, and it was like, wow. And then as I got older, I started getting into first-person shooters, and I started getting into Borderlands, seeing Borderlands 1, and the music that drops when you first see that, and it introduces you to the characters. And the cinematics, I was like, wow. And I liked the style of it. And then I played Halo Reach, and this is where me and Larry became friends. We played Halo Reach. We played a multiplayer match whenever I had a free weekend, and then, man, we connected on, and then we became friends on Facebook, and we've been friends ever since. But it was like, I played Halo Reach. That was probably the pinnacle. Halo Reach and Halo 3 are probably the pinnacle of the Halo series to me, even though Halo 4 is very, very good. Halo 5 is good, but it has its man moments. But Reach and Halo 3, I played those, and I was like, jaw dropped. I was like, and I'll say to this day, I would want another game like Reach, because if any USNC is that big, they obviously had another world where they had these ones that they were testing with and had all these different abilities. That game was so mind blowing to me. And thank you everybody for joining in and watching this. And other games that I liked outside of that is that
I love Paper Mario.
Whenever I used to be on the PS2 all the time before my PS2 don't work anymore. But I used to play all the Jack and Dexter games, the Ratchet and Clank games, Vex, the old Tony Hawk games. I remember playing those games for hours on end and just being like, yeah.
Oh man, the Tony Hawk games are so old school.
And I mean, I remember I used to play Tony Hawk, and people, and I've gotten literally shit on YouTube in this day and age for saying that I like Tony Hawk, the Underground games, and Tony Hawk Wasteland. Some people say, "Oh, well, you guys stick to the mainline Tony Hawk, not whenever it still had Tony Hawk's name and it started changing some of that stuff." I still love those games just as much because you sitting there thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna go up there and be a skateboarder." Skateboard, go up there and you do 8 flips and then you land down. No, but it was cool because it was in a video game and you could be like Tony Hawk, that guy, you know. Because you go in school in the early 2000s, you be in middle school, elementary, people like, and you watch the X Games, blah blah. My brother used to see people be like that. But it's like that stuff connected with me.
For me, like when the skate games came out, I played those nonstop. Like Skate 3, dude, I love that game so much.
Yeah.
And I wish that game was on Game Pass so we could fucking play it together.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, man,
Ladies and gentlemen, with Big Evil Gaming, you're guaranteed at least 1, if not 2 F-bombs in this stream. So.
And also, I gotta say this, is that if it was not for music, it was not for wrestling, it was not for gaming, none of us would be here with this YouTube creator, with Big Evil Gaming, with none of this, because this is what's connected us and made us not only be like, hey, you're my friend, because it made us go like, hey, we can be lifelong friends, because we have something connected to each other that, yeah, we may have our hardships in life. I've had my bad days, Logan's had his bad days, Larry's had his bad days, but we come, turn our Xbox on, turn our computer on, turn whatever system we're on, get on chat with our friends, and man, those problems go away, and we go in there and kill our zombies, kill our people. Hell, we go in GTA and find somebody else and say, hey, mother, let's go kill you. and then you're thinking, hey,
me more than anybody else, but we'll leave that to a different story.
Oh yeah, you get in the game, we get in the game, and then you're like, hey, doing all this shit, and Larry's like, hey, let's make our own private lobby.
But I'm killing people. And 9 times out of 10, that's usually the way it goes.
Yeah, but now getting into this, I want to talk about 2 Xbox exclusives that I got suggested to talk about. Was Sea of Thieves, but I added my own, which is State of Decay 2, because these games have connected us three in Triple Gaming really, really close. Is that I want to talk about our thoughts on the Xbox exclusives. These 2, I'm not going to talk about others because others are really, basically you got your Forza and some other things, which are good games. But yes, Xbox is lacking in the exclusive market, but they are not in the third party or the indies and all that. So people can say what they want about an Xbox. I love it day in, day out. But the exclusives, talk about the one that came out first, Sea of Thieves. And what is your thoughts on Sea of Thieves, Logan? What do you think about the game from when you first got onto it to now, and what you see coming for the game? And I'll give mine afterwards.
Well, I'm going to go off the beaten path here really quick, and then I'll go back to your question.
Sure.
Yes, Xbox is lacking in exclusives, but when it comes to the PlayStation version of the Game Pass, known as PlayStation Now, and it comes to Xbox Game Pass by far owns PlayStation's ass.
Well,
see it. Oh, sorry.
I was going to add to what you said. Think about this. You gotta, sending video to something, and you watching something, like a TV show or something like that. Okay, cool. You watch that thing, that scene. Say you watched Family Guy, and you watched the scene where Peter came in his house and did this stuff, and you laughed at it. You know what you're gonna do when you want to watch that? You're gonna reload it and go back and watch it from the beginning all the way through to get that same enjoyment, it's the same laughter. In a game, you have to be sitting there, and that if say you were trying to do that same thing and it was a Family Guy game, you have to be there rendered in that game to be able to look at every single corner to know who's coming in the door. Is somebody going to come out the other door from the kitchen into here? What's somebody doing upstairs? So at PlayStation Now, it's a streaming service of games. People say, hey, Game Pass is a streaming service. No, Game Pass looks and acts like a streaming service, but it streams it to your system, downloads it, and then it uses that downloaded files to let you play it online or offline. You've got to be online to play PlayStation Now. Now, getting into Sea of...
Yeah, and I mean, I will say one thing.
Yes?
Before we get on Sea of Thieves. I had PlayStation Now. I tried it for 1 month. And I literally had, the internet we have here, I think it's 320 or 480 or some high number. But, internet is like bar none good. And I was still having problems streaming games from PlayStation Now. But Sea of Thieves, when I first played Sea of Thieves, I love Donkey Kong, Rare, but Sea of Thieves was unlike any game I have ever played. It is in-depth, open world, beautiful, stunning graphics.
That water.
And I'm able to be a fucking pirate? Dude!
So, okay, I got it.
I've always wanted to be a pirate.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off what he said. And but I'm gonna ask some other things. Is that when you look at Sea of Thieves, people across YouTube want to nag it for lacking content because you drop in the game and you're a pirate. Well, you know what? What did a pirate do back in the day? They had to make a lot of the content themselves because you're a pirate. You're on a ship. You have your cannonballs. You have your food. You have your boards to fix your ship. And then what do you have? Selling the open seas to get from here to there, right? And it takes a while to sell those damn seas, right? Mm-hmm. So you got to make some of your things.
Yeah, and then you got to go dig for buried treasure.
But I got to say,
enemies.
To have a cartoon-ass style graphics with the way that water looks, it's like that water shouldn't be in that game almost because it's like that water should look more cartoonic, like the ship, the characters, the people that are on the island.
Realistic.
That water looks so cool. And what's cool about that game now from when I first played is when you jump in that water, you see fish, right? But nowadays you jump in that game and you look in there and you actually see school of fish, and it's like they're slowly but adding content in the game. But it's one of the best games that I can say that games as a service, that model right there is working there. It's game as a service, but games as a service without having you have a fee every time a DLC, a patch, or something comes to the game. Because the developers have said, you know what? We're putting this game out there. Yeah, it may not be where everybody wants it to be, but we're doing it because we want to sit there and put in what we know should come in this game every couple months, every couple weeks. But be able to tweak it to what the fan base, to what us people at PAX, at E3, that come to us and say, hey, this is what we would like to see. Because people came to them and said, we want pets. And they said pets were going to come in the game initially, but they moved that back because people wanted more of this or that, or more things with skeletons. And then they've said they're going to add more ships. They're going to add ships. That people have talked about fishing in the game. They said eventually, maybe. You know, they talked about
that would be cool.
about more adding more places to go inside of on islands, and there's all this stuff, and it's really, really cool. And I gotta say, every time I get on the game with Larry, Logan, even Brian, Logan's girlfriend, all that, I have a blast playing with them. And hell, even Golden Diamond Eyeball, as other people that I've met. That's one game that when a DLC dropped, that you knew other people were going to be in the game. I've met some dicks in that game, so really hardcore dicks, because there is dicks in that game. But whenever
there's a lot of dicks.
But when the Hungering Deep dropped, me and Logan met within a 2-night period of playing that game. We met 3-4 other ships, and we went with these people, and people said, hey, what you doing? Hungering Deep? Yeah, we're doing the Hungering Deep. And they just said, hey, let's get on their ship. You join our ship. Hey, we follow each other. And it was just like, hey, a good time. We're laughing, we're hee-hawing, shooting this dude. And we're sitting there, this thing's attacking our ship, but we're having a good time doing it. And it's like, dude, there's never like that. You have that same experience in Destiny, where you jump in something and somebody could join in or join out, you know? But do you see them sitting there, laughs and all this and ha-ha? Do you see all that? Maybe once in a blue moon, but not all the time. That first big DLC, I saw it in the game, and I was like, wow.
And it's insanity.
You know? But that was like, and it was so cool that when we did that was, I forgot one of the groups who we did it with. We got done doing it, and we were going back to the port, and these guys were just like, wow, man, we met these 2 other guys, and they just joined our game, or these other guys, and it was like, wow. And I was like, dude, we just, you know, and what's also really funny about the game, I think one of the best features in the game, isn't it cool, Logan, to be a pirate, but also say, hey, we need to get over that island. We know officially we're going to get a boat to help us get to that island, our little rowboat, but if we can't get over there now, what do we do? Put ourselves in a cannon and shoot ourselves over to the island.
That is by far the coolest thing ever.
If you ever imagine...
Man the cannons! Fire yourself!
Yeah, you ever want to know, how a cannonball feels, stay in Sea of Thieves, you get to know how it feels to be shot out of a cannon. And
be a circus man.
And the thing that makes you laugh your ass off, but also do this, because we've flashed so many times at it, is that, hey, we're all going to jump on the island. Okay, Larry shoots himself off over there. Logan gets over there. Hey, shoots himself off. I get over there. I get the same cannon after they do. They both hit the island. Boom. Hey, Chris, where you going? I don't know. I'm just clearing the whole damn island. Woo! And it's like, and we look at, and Logan and Larry like, didn't he get in the same cannon that I got in? I'm like, yeah. Well, why did you clear the island? And we're both sitting here about to get the chest. And I'm like, I don't know. And it's just like a ball in that game.
Oh, it is amazing.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, I can't wait for the new DLC because every time a DLC drops in the game, you know that TLG is going to jump on that game and whoever wants to join can join us and we're going to try to get footage of us doing it.
As always.
And also, I really like the addition. It's a pain. It makes me bite my tongue. It makes me go rated R. But I do like the addition of the gunpowder skeletons. Because that, man, it makes me pull my hair out. But, man, though, because you're right there on the chest, and then boom.
Yep.
What is this?
And with the new gunpowder skeletons, man, it's a rush.
Yeah, man. And also, I like the way that game gave is when we beat the Hungry Deep. How we got to win, man. You get to actually have a trophy for that. You get to put that thing on the front of your boat, and you go down there.
Oh
yeah. So yeah, now I've got two other things to talk about. Another exclusives, and then something that involves all gamers. So State of Decay 2, a game that I didn't really know if I was going to get the game initially, but then State of Decay 1 came on the Game Pass, and Logan and Larry were playing it, and I started playing it, and it just looked like a game that man, I get on Xbox, and Logan was just on that game. Larry was talking about that game, and I was like, joy, and I was like, well, damn, I'm going to have to get this game.
I was playing that game for forever until 2 came out.
Yeah. But yeah, State of Decay 2, I mean, for me personally, because I've actually really enjoyed that game the more, because right now, my current community, because I killed my first community, I did part of it on stream, but also I told Larry and Logan, hey, this is what happened, and I was just basically being a dumbass. But State of Decay 2, currently, I'm right where I'm about to be going to 2 other counties, able to do some certain things, and every time I get on that game, man, I'm just enjoying it more and more, because I'm noticing these little nuances about the game that, yes, you may be driving and you have a load-up screen or not really a loading screen, but like the level trying to load itself come up. But even some of the glitches, it gives me laughter, joy, and I'm like, dude, look at this. I blow up this zombie and half his arm is going through a door, and I'm like, what the hell? Or like I get in these cars, and then I drive so far, and I'm like, oops, I forgot to get gas, or this. But the story about the game is that you get the plague coming there, and you gotta sit there and get it and get these plague hearts out of this world, because that's your mission is rid the world of the plague hearts. Because if you rid the community of the plague hearts, it makes your people happy, and it makes less zombies be in certain areas because they feed off of the plague hearts. But yeah, I've really, really enjoyed the game. What have you thought about State of Decay 2?
And see, with the concept of the plague hearts, I think it actually kind of makes it a little bit better in sort of like a masochist kind of way, I guess.
Yes and yes. Logan?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Something else that also makes it cool is that games you look for a cure, but with having these play cards, it makes it different than most zombie games. Because most zombie games, you have a virus, and these people get right, and you either have a cure or you don't have a cure. And if you don't have a cure in the zombie game, what's your goal? Is to not get infected, basically, right? Well, in State of Decay, you can heal people, but then again, there's people that either they get the But having the play card, it's like, okay, there's this thing in this world that's going to keep popping up because the virus is out there in the world. But if I take this play card away from this area, then I'm raiding this area for however long until they try to fight back in here of this virus, which is cool. Because like I'll take a perfect example, The Walking Dead. The zombies are always going to come to them as long as there's noise. People are always, as soon as they die, because it's in the air, going to keep turning into zombies. But with State of Decay 2, you're not going to turn into a zombie if you get that plague out of there. But then you also got to think. If a little bit of that virus gets somewhere there, it could contaminate something in a plague card get made. And it's really, really a different take on it. Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yeah.
And last topic we got that we're gonna do before I let Logan go set up a stream over on his channel is talk about something that we've talked about on our stream before, but it's something that touches the people in the chat, touches us, because if Charles, I'd be able to play with you right now if this company was not doing this. But I have not really said it in full detail how I feel about it until now, even though I've said it to Larry and Logan how I feel, is cross-play. So, do you want to say, how do you feel about cross-play? Do you like the addition of cross-play between Xbox, Nintendo, PC, but then PlayStation sitting there saying, hey, because we're the leader in this generation, because we got this, we can do this about it. How do you feel?
Well, for crossplay, for me, I think it is a good idea because you get to meet a lot of people. Like, let's say that, like, we're playing on Xbox, and we meet somebody that's playing on PC or playing on PS4 or playing on Nintendo Switch or playing on a Sega or playing on
their phone,
playing on or a ColecoVision or something, basically, or your phone or something, you will be able to meet so many more people, and not only that, but the game developer, and let's say PlayStation or Epic Games or whoever, would be able to make more money off of it.
Yes,
because
sir.
more people are playing it, and the only downside is that the servers would have to be overclocked way bad.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Is that I agree with everything you said. Is that say you look at it in every month people across YouTube and all that. We obviously see it. People like Spawn and Wave and all these other people that we can contact to say come out and say hey, do videos on it and say hey, we're the Rooster Teeth's the No channel, and for the month of this channel. For the month of May 2018, Xbox sold this much, PlayStation sold this much. And you look at it and you think, well, you know what? What? Yeah, each of those systems sold that much. This system sold 5 million, this system sold 10 million. But then you think about this. For a gamer, if crossplay was for every system, 5 plus 10 plus 30, you add all that up, that's how many different people I get the chance to possibly play with because crossplay. And the reason I want to talk about this subject is because I've seen a lot of it, and it's something that affects us because there's games like Fortnite, any Call of Duty game, Warframe, other games that are going to be added into this thing that have this thing where you got to be online, and they're like Minecraft, and they like you want to play with this person, and because this developer makes this game, basically, Xbox and Nintendo has said, basically, it's a line of code that hey, if this developer says, hey, we want crossplay in this game, they put that line in there saying, okay. Because what is the line of code, basically? I don't know what the line of code is. Probably X's, zeros, whatever they want to put in there. But basically, the line of code says, it says, okay, here's the line of code that makes it work on every version of the Xbox. The original Xbox One, the Xbox One S, the Xbox One X, right? You got that line of code. Well, if you add this feature into it, it says, allow this code that makes it work on Nintendo. So you take a line of it that green lights it to work on Nintendo systems, add it into the Xbox code, and it means that every time that if a Nintendo talks to an Xbox, that internet's saying, okay, it's good for it to talk. It's not sitting there, oh, every time Nintendo comes, I gotta block it with a firewall. Same thing with PC. And I understand that PlayStation wants to be the number one. PlayStation is number one. PlayStation has great exclusive. They have good hardware. But the thing about it is, they're not really giving the people an answer, and it's kind of like, I look at it as, okay, you got money, you got all this, but you're being somewhat of a jackass because you're the first one that came out and said we're already working on the next version of the PlayStation, which prompted Xbox to go, you know what, they're working on it already. Let's just reveal that we're already working on ours at E3 and trump them, basically. That's what they did. And, you know, because everybody's always working on the next version of the hardware because you have something sitting here, console, and you think, well, you know what? This console came out. At the same time that console comes out, 6 months later, a new chipset could be released, and be like, well, I want to use that chipset. Well, I can get somewhat of that chipset to work on this computer without even have that chip in there because I can throw a firmware or an update or a patch into the system. And I believe crossplay is the future because one day, maybe if I have kids or whoever has kids, I'm gonna be sitting there in my late 30s, my 40s, be like, hey, I got an Xbox 3, I've got a PlayStation 7, and you're gonna be able to pop a game in, hey, go onto a server and say, hey, who all has this game? And people from Mexico, China, here, there, they may speak a different language, they may live a different life, but for those moments they get in that game, they talk their Spanish, they talk their thing. But one day you could be able to pop in a game, and there's a translator app that's right there that translates their voice into English for you to see, your voice into Chinese for them, and bam, you're playing with somebody in China just like that, and it's no problem. That's going to be amazing because then you're going to have so many different people you can make friends with. Yeah, it'd be cool to make all those friends right here where you live. But in the day and age when some people don't get to have friends in the area they live like me or others, even though I do have friends here, I'm not saying that I don't have any friends, but it's the thing, and crossplay makes it so awesome because a lot of people nowadays, to de-stress from life, they get on their games and they go and play with people. Sorry for the rant, but that's what it is, and it's so awesome because without crossplay, I might be able to sit there and every day I see something gaming, get to say, hey Larry, bam, bam. But when I get to jump in these games, it takes multiplayer and it expands what you do in multiplayer for this game and takes it times 10 because you're sitting there saying, well, you know what? Yeah, I might have the same console, but right now, say like one day multiplayer worked and Logan's like, you know what, Chris, I want to play this game with you, but my girlfriend's playing the Xbox right now. Let me see this. Give me a second. My controller turned off. Logan could be like, hey, I want to play this game with you, but my girlfriend's currently on the Xbox, you know? But then I'd be like, you know what, you got a Nintendo Switch, right? Or you got this, or you got your phone or something like this. And he'd be like, oh yeah, or you got your PC, right? He's like, yeah, I got my PC. Well, you know what, just hop on there, type in my info through the third-party app for that developer, and bam, we're playing moments together on this game. And that's what's so cool about the crossplay, is that it's just a line of code. It's kind of like, if you look at it, with Nintendo Switch and Fortnite, everybody was bashing Nintendo for not having their chat, right? It was through a third-party app. And then what happened? Fortnite just put a line of code in there, in their system, and bam, chat's native on the Nintendo Switch. And then Nintendo's like, oops, well, yeah, it is just a line of code. Just like crossplay is just a line of code. Nintendo's like, oops, it just is a line of code. So I believe, to bring all of us together here in the chat, is that crossplay is the future. That every system now and every multiplayer game that is a third-party multiplayer game should have native crossplay, native chat with everybody, because yeah, that would be the best thing, because the only thing that's really going to distinguish these systems going forward is the way the hardware is made, number one, and number two is the exclusives, because you're going to sit there and say, do I want a game? Do I want the most graphically best looking console that has the best third parties, as the Xbox? Do I want the most story driven exclusives with PlayStation, or do I want the most kid friendly on the go game that also has a bunch of damn exclusives with the Switch? So yeah, so before we go in this, because I don't want to sit there and be too much longer, anybody in the chat got any questions or any last words you would like to say, Logan, about being on this and, and joining me?
I just want to say thank you very much for letting me on here, and I just want to say, everybody that's watching, man, give Chris a lot of love, and if you guys want to, go ahead and check me out and give me a like.
Yeah.
Give some love.
Can you describe the game real quick before I go look back in the chat? Describe the game that me and you are going to go play in about the next 10 minutes over on your channel.
Okay, so give me a quick second here. I'm just making sure I have everything set. So, the game is called The Force. Basically what it is a first-person survival crafting horror game. What the game is about is that you and your son are on this airliner where something happens with the turbulence or something happens and the plane goes down and crashes on this, what would seem a deserted island.
Yeah.
You regain a little bit of consciousness as you see this big-ass buff dude covered in red pick up your unconscious son and run off. And you slip back into unconsciousness. When you wake up, you got to make a base, gather food, gather clean water.
And I believe all that you have is like a little hatchet or axe that you found on the plane.
All you have is a little axe, but you can find weapons, you can make weapons, you can craft a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But the goal of the game is that you're trying to rescue your son and escape from this island, all while, as I call them, islanders, these cannibalistic people, are trying to kill you.
Yeah. So basically, from what I get from that game, because he's played the game a lot longer than I have, and even streamed the game, is that basically, say you're going across the Pacific Ocean, there's going to be islands that people have not gone to, right? For, say, the Bermuda Triangle, basically, area. Yes. You go over that island, and you run out of gas, you crash, right? Everybody dies. But you and your son, you wake up, these people see you, they think you're dead, obviously. They see your son, and he's a small, younger person, and they're like, well, you know what? Think Tarzan. They're gonna take your son. He grows up. All he knows is them. He forgets basically who you are, and he may come like them. So you basically got to get up and you basically got to go like, I got to get my son before he turns into one of them, basically, kind of thing. Which is crazy, you know. Yeah. So yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you to Larry. Thank you to Logan. Thank you to Charles. Thank you to Crows. Thank you to Red Panda. Thank you to DOA Hitman and everybody that joined in the first episode of Talk is Levi. This will be a couple times a month. There will be live episodes, and there may be an episode here or there that won't be live. There will be a 45-minute recorded session where I talk about things. Sometimes it will be just me. Sometimes I will have Logan join in again. It will be Larry. Larry may join in the future. If y'all want to join in, we'll figure out a way to join you all in. And in the end, I'm trying to figure out ways that maybe it's not just me. Maybe if I can figure out how to get Skype to stream on here on Google Hangouts, because I've seen people do it on YouTube all the time and get people to join in. So there's a bunch of things I want to do this, and I don't know where it will go in the future. But as far as future episodes, I feel like it's a success. Thank you all that. this stream's going to go down, and I'm going to head over to Big Evil Gaming, and we're going to go have some fun in the forest. You ready, man?
Yeah, let's do it, brother.
Yeah. Thank you all. Go check. Hey, comment in the comment section real quick of the other channel. I mean, the stream real quick before I go. I just want to make sure you can do that real quick, Logan.
Alrighty. Let me,
Just comment whatever you feel like commenting, and then I'm gonna. Let me just check. Okay, yeah. So that channel that just commented, that's Big Evil Gaming. Everybody, go click on that. Stream will be there, and I will share it out once it goes live. So yes, thank you all, and I am ending the stream. The stream went a little longer on this end than I thought it'd be, but yes, go check us out there. Thank you all for everything you do for me, for any of us. Thank you all for being friends, not only with me, but with each other, making the child lively. I never expected this. Every day, when I get up, yes, I love doing my job. Yes, I love playing music. But when I do stuff like this and to interact with you all, it means the absolute world to me. Thank you all. Thank you, Logan. And I'm ending the stream. See y'all later within maybe the next week or two for episode 2. And, yeah, tomorrow night will be I'll be playing some Fortnite with Larry and maybe Logan or whoever else wants to join in.
yeah, I should be able to.
I'll be doing some Fortnite because I have not played that hardcore in a while. And yeah, going to do the Forest. See y'all later.
Chris is just a figment of your imagination. He does not exist. Just Logan. This is all a dream. You're getting sleepy. Sleepy.